This is Nick from The Groundwire, and today I want to talk about a few setup tips and tricks to help you get the most out of your Telecaster. So I don't think it's any secret that a Telecaster is one of the most versatile guitars. At home in virtually any situation, from country to punk rock to Zeppelin cover band, there's very little that you can't do with a Tele in hand. And for many of us, a Tele is, almost a perfect guitar in a lot of senses, although there are a few limitations and sort of frustrations that I want to talk about today, and maybe some ways around that, and also some tips on how to get the most versatility sound-wise, because for many players, myself included for a lot of years, a Tele was something that basically was a sort of a one-sound guitar for me, because it was always all about the bridge pickup. And I never really liked the neck pickup sound, never liked the in-between sound. And so I want to talk about a few different things that you can do to kind of maximize your Telecaster. The first thing I want to talk about is actually some hardware related stuff. One of my gripes about a Tele has always been that I thought the controls were in the wrong places. It wasn't that easy to get to the volume knob to turn your volume up and down, and also the switch would kind of get in the way of your hand, especially if you are on the middle. You could bump it really easily. So you'll notice on this Tele, it's actually backwards. So the control panel is actually flipped so that the volume knob is here closest to the pickup, which makes it obviously much easier to access when you want to do volume swells. It puts it in a great spot, not so much that you're going to hit it, but whereas the switch being out here, I found myself bumping it sometimes. This particular plate, you can find these. This has also an angled switch, and that's actually really useful, so that when you go to switch, your hand motion kind of naturally wants to go like this across the body of the guitar, as opposed to side to side. So I would recommend a switch plate with an angled switch, and then flipping it around and wiring it so you got your volume knob here, your tone knob here, and the switch in the back. And I find this makes it a lot more useful for on-the-fly changes. The next thing is I'm a big proponent of using your volume and your tone knobs to get a lot of different sounds out of the guitar. And one other thing I like on a Tele is, for your tone cap, I like an 022 cap because it doesn't shelve off as much highs as an 047. Basically, the bigger the value of a tone cap that you have, the wider frequency range that it's going to start to lower the frequency at which it shelves the high end off. So I like an 022, has a real nice smooth balance of even all the way down. You don't get that super deep mud sound like the old Blackguards that had like the 0.1 cap where you couldn't even hear anything. I actually, with some overdrive, the tone rolled all the way off, can get some cool sounds that way. So 022 tone cap, and also Teles really love having the tone knob rolled back just a little bit. A Tele's real bright, and it can be piercing, and actually kind of in a good way. It's one of the reasons why Teles you can always hear them, they always cut through. But I usually leave mine with the tone knob somewhere between 7 and 8, and I find that works real well. This is a Deluxe Reverb, so bright amp. And if the tone's all the way up, the highs can be a little piercing. Roll it back to, say, 7. And it just takes off that real harsh treble frequencies off the top. What's next? Oh, the bridge. So I love the classic Tele bridge with the 3 saddles. I think that gives the classic twang, and I like it better than a 6 saddle bridge for classic Tele tones. But the sides of the ashtray here tend to get in the way, especially if you do a lot of finger picking. So I don't know if you can see this very well, but this bridge, the sides are cut down. There's a bunch of companies that do this. You can get Joe Barden bridges, Glendale. This is a Rudders bridge. I really like it. But the sides right around the pickup are cut down so that it doesn't get in the way of your pick or your fingers. And that makes it a lot easier for playing, and also for if you're doing any, it still leaves enough of the side rail here if you want to plant your hand for palm muting or anything. It keeps it there. So I find that the cutaway sides on the bridge is really helpful too. The next thing I want to talk about is pickups and balancing your pickups. So as I said before, for a long time I never used the neck pickup on my Tele. And Tele neck pickups are probably much maligned, and I think a lot of people, it's pretty common to not only to not like them, but it's very common to replace a Tele neck pickup with a humbucker, a P90, a gold foil, something else. And I think Tele neck pickups can actually sound awesome, but to me the key is kind of counterintuitively, you don't want to balance it with the bridge pickup. Unless maybe you have like a really bright or underwound Tele neck pickup. These are Lawler specialties, and the way I have this set up is I find that if you balance the volume between the neck and the bridge, what happens is the neck pickup can be muddy and kind of dull sounding. And so then if you try and lower it to where it sounds good, and then you balance it, you turn the bridge down, and then the bridge can sound really thin. And so to me, on a Tele, I've got, it's probably really tough to see this, but I've got the neck pickup way down, not quite all the way level with the pickguard, but it's pretty low, and I've got the bridge pickup up pretty high, fairly close to the strings. Now, you don't want your pickups too high. You don't want it bumping the strings, and you don't want it to knock the guitar out of tune from the magnetic pull. But back here towards the bridge, you're not in very much danger of that. So I've always found a Tele bridge pickup sounds good cranked up pretty high, and the neck pickup pretty low. And the other benefit you're going to get from that is a better in-between sound, in my opinion. So let me show you a little bit about what I'm talking about here. So here I'll start on the bridge. Here's your classic. So when I switch to the neck, the output drops fairly noticeably. Not a ton, but bridge pickup is a good deal louder. And one, I like that because I'm typically using the back pickup for leads. So I want to get a little bit of a boost if I switch pickups. But again, I find the neck pickup, when you back it off a little bit, you get a really nice, almost sort of faux acoustic-y kind of sound. It works really nice for finger picking. It's great for strumming as well, just your... And then if you want to get to some single note stuff, you just go right to that back pickup. nice little boost. The other benefit I find from having the pickups unbalanced is that you get, to me, a better in-between sound. And I'll show you what I mean. I've always kind of thought that the in-between sound on a telly, when the pickups are even, you get a lot of frequency cancellation. It kind of scoops out the mids and it sounds thin and chimey, but not in a great way. And by unbalancing the output levels of the pickups, you get a little bit more of the bridge, and you end up with an in-between sound that gives a really nice rhythm comping kind of sound. Like, think like sort of Steve Cropper, R&B kind of. So I think you get more chirp that way with the bridge pickup taking over a little bit. Okay, I think I covered the main things. So control plate flipped, volume control here, 022 cap on the tone knob, roll the tone back a little bit, angled switch here, cut down sides on the bridge, and bridge pickup a little bit higher than the neck. And I find that gives a really nice balance. It also works well if you got a little overdrive. You get a nice dynamic sound on the neck pickup. Great for kind of bluesy stuff. Not too muddy. This is a Foxrox FR100 overdrive, by the way. And then if you want to get into some sort of rhythmy comp stuff, roll the volume back a little bit, go to the middle, and of course, so this setup I find gives a lot more versatility. It allows me to get to my swells. Allows you to use the tone more, get a lot of variance in sounds. Can even get some sort of faux wah-wah effects with the tone knob that way. And it just makes it easier to get it all around the guitar. So that's it. Tellies, they're awesome. I think a few little things like this make it even more usable than it is normally.